Greetings from Las Vegas. I'm about 10 miles north of Las Vegas at the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. Great place up here with tons of well-groomed roads and reasonably well-groomed roads and all kinds of cool places to go. Today, we're going to be looking at, not too far here, I'm getting my legs here, we're going to be looking at Hidden Forest Road, and there's some, there may be some kind of a canyon in there as well. Not sure, but I'm just going to go check it out. It is November 1st, Saturday, 2025. It is about 78 degrees out today. Didn't really need my mid layer here, but whatever. What a beautiful day to be out in here. And today, I'm going to dedicate today's ride. Not that I've ever done that before, but I'm going to dedicate today's ride to people like myself who have been through things like hip replacement, knee reconstruction, which I've been through, brain replacement, which I'll probably go through eventually, and we get knocked down, but we're not beat. We're still getting out here. We're still coming out on these roads. We're still hitting the dirt, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to hit the dirt and put some dust and some miles on this big Scrambler 1200 XE, which is what it's for. It's for getting up here for a 30-mile ride from home, and then I let some air out of the tires. I took them from their 36 and 42 down to about 22 pounds each, roughly. Might go a little lower than that, but so the whole idea here is I'm going to get out here. I'm probably going to go embarrassingly slow on these perfectly groomed dirt roads, but I'm going to adventure out through these areas I haven't been in yet, and I'm going to have the best damn Saturday I've had all week. So come along with me. Let's enjoy ourselves. Have a little fun. It's so beautiful out. It's so comfortable out right now. Let's get this thing dirty. So what do you think? I've gotten some accessorizing done here. Series of accessorize my ride videos with little things like unit garage, crash bars, Evotech performance radiator guard, some sliders, some bobbins up there for help protect the forks a little bit, some swing arm bobbins for doing work, lubing the chain and stuff, lifting it up with a paddock stand. I got rid of my damn temporary tag. Finally, it's finally fully street legal. My GV luggage rack, I've had that for a little while, but love it. My unit garage windscreen, tinted windscreen. I wasn't sure if it was going to properly block this mess between the headlight and the Speedo, and I think it does a fantastic job of it with this tinted one. This is working. I am a happy camper. This is great. It's all coming together. So, it's like Hannibal says, I love it when a plan comes together. 779 miles. Oh yeah, let's also, before we actually start riding, let's put this thing in, we're in road, not sport, off-road pro, there we go. Turn off traction control, because we don't need that. And what do you think about this? This, finally got my quad lock mount up here on the unit garage GPS mount thing, the bar on there that came with the windscreen. I love it. It's the front facing camera. It's just like it was on the Tiger before this. Perfect mounting position. It's centered. It's easy to snap on and off. It's all feng shui or whatever that nonsense is. So I can dig it. So this will be my first time. Normally we go forward, which takes us to Mormon Well Road. Today we're going to go to Alamo Road and head towards Hidden Forest Road. And there's Dead Man's Canyon or something like that in that area. So I've never been this way before, so this is awesome. New undiscovered country. Let's see what we can find. I'm just gonna take it slow and maybe stretch the legs a little. Don't you hate it when you first sit down? No vehicles. You first sit down when you're just getting started riding. Look at this. They already have, wow. We haven't been out 10 minutes. Wow, these tires are quite, they're quite squishy, down around 20, 22 pounds. Day use only, no overnight camping, but already there's a great little parking lot with this gorgeous view. Wow. But that's too early. Let's keep going. But as I was, gonna need it in first. As I was saying, you know how you first sit down when you're first getting rided before you're all limbered up and stuff, and you start getting these little cramps in your thigh, and my wife always says, you need to drink more water, and that's probably true. But, I'm gonna stand up again and let it loosen out. So the speed limit here is 25. There's another spot with another beautiful view. Wow. Okay. No shooting next 72 miles. All right. So there's a lot of places out here where it's perfectly fine to come out and do target shooting. This is not one of them. So there's another question I have to get out. And this is embarrassing. Have you ever gotten to a traffic light and the light turns green? You've had it in neutral because you've been sitting there for a while, or you're here in Vegas, you've been sitting there for 75 or 85 minutes waiting for the light to change. And you start tapping down on the lever and you're going, why isn't it shifting? What's going on? It's not going into first. Oh, crap. And then you realize you're tapping on the damn brake lever. Holy shit. That was me last week. Now, my only excuse is I was on the phone talking to my wife while I was riding home, talking about what we were going to do for dinner, that sort of thing, so my head wasn't fully in it. And when oh boy, you just feel like the biggest jackass. That's the first time I've ever done that in the 35 years of riding, but it's probably not going to be the last. Banging on it and banging on. I know the guy behind me has got to be going, Jesus, dude, get this old guy off the streets. Take away his license. It's really nice, too. They had a sign out front at the entrance to the park area when you got to the end of the paved road and you're entering this dirt road area. And it said something about, despite the current November 1st, 2025, we're still under a government shutdown right now. And it said something about, despite that, we will still do our best to keep things running as well as we can. Because I think a lot of the folks that support this park, I know at least some of them are volunteers. So they're here just because they love it anyway. And wow, that's just amazing. It's really nice that we're still able to have all this available to us, even when, during strange times like now. So one of the things, if I was to continue on this road, I think it's something like 78 miles. It said it on that sign back there. It's quite a distance, but this is called Alamo Road because this goes all the way to the town of Alamo. It'll go through this entire wildlife refuge, and you'll end up on Highway 93, and you go north just a little bit further, and there's the town of Alamo. Pretty cool. So here's another one of these cute little, there's a lot of these. That's great. If you want, you can just come out here. I don't know that I would want to do it right there, but you can. If you want to come out here with your truck or your camper or whatever and just enjoy the view and have a little picnic lunch or something, let your dogs run around. Pretty cool. We've seen people out here doing just that. This is awesome. Chugging along on a somewhat chunky dirt road on a big old 1200. Ooh. And just as I say that, the road kind of punches the front tire in the nose. It says, yeah, we're not making it completely easy for you. But I can get off this dirt road, get back on the highway, and ride to Barstow if I want. Not quite sure why I'd want to do that, but Big Bear Lake. No, there's another one. Yeah, through Barstow to Big Bear Lake. That would be cool. Maybe next summer. I love Big Bear. I have to say, and I still haven't dialed in the suspension on this because I'm a jackass and I haven't. But I have to say, the suspension, I've been on some of those other roads behind me, Mormon Well Road, very similar conditioned roads on the Scrambler 400X. And it was great, but it was a little jarring. And this thing just kind of feels like it's just chewing it up, and it's not a big deal. You know, you can feel everything, obviously, but it's you don't feel it in your spine quite as much. How much further do we have until our turn? 10 more miles. Okay. This is quite a long straight stretch to get to Hidden Forest Road. And I'll say it again about the high pipe on this, which is probably the biggest concern everybody has about these. If there was this magical way of having a high pipe without any heat coming off of it, you know, this would be a kind of a unicorn, I suppose. But riding on the newer Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, what year did it start? I think it was 2022 through 2025. I think it was 2022 when it started, when they moved the catalytic converter from up close to the headers. They moved it to the rear slip-ons, the rear part of the exhaust. And that helped a lot with regard to when you're riding. I have my leg tucked up against the heat shield on the pipes right now, and it's a non-issue. I don't really even notice it. However, on the behind my thigh, it's not an issue right now, but I'm aware of the fact that there's a catalytic converter back there, and I can feel it radiating heat. It's calling my name. And the biggest issue with that is anytime you're stopped at a traffic light, and if you put both feet down, your thigh comes in contact with that so-called heat shield back there. It's not a heat shield, it's a heat radiator, because it's direct contact with the catalytic converter, and it transfers the heat from it straight to your thigh, and it's not good. So you just have to figure out, if you leave this exhaust, the slip-on thing with the cat in there, better downshift a little. You just have to get used to it, and maybe you don't put both feet down. Even if you can, keep your right leg up on the peg when you're at stoplights, which is technically what you're supposed to do anyway, right? You're supposed to have your foot on the brake, left foot down, keep it in first gear. You're supposed to be ready, because if some jackass comes up behind you, you have to be able to prepared to jump and get out of their way, because somebody's watching a Hello Kitty TikTok video or some stupid shit like that. So that's one way to do it. Oh, there's another cute little resting spot. I'm just going to keep charging ahead about 7 more miles until our turn. Ooh, that was a little... loose gravel caught me off guard a little. I think it's time to put the visor down because this is actually the sun reflecting off of these rocks is quite bright. It's almost... Let me get to a spot where I can take my hand off for a moment. There we go. I'm not a big fan of sunglasses and glasses at all in general. That's why I really like the full face helmet with a transitions visor that, you know, automatically gets darker when it's sunny out. So there you got your sunglass problem covered. Pretty nice. I know the benefit of the visor up top is questionable. I know it's originally supposed to be a roost deflector for motocross helmets, and then they transitioned into these adventure helmets, but you know what, I use it most because I'm not... Oh, Cow Camp Road. All right, there's another one. There's another one we'll have to explore eventually. Check out what's up at Cow Camp. Man, I gotta... It just freaked me out a little. But the... I'm not riding behind a whole lot of motocross bikes these days, or even enduros, so for me it's when I'm riding home from my mother's place in Arizona into the setting sun in the west, and I can tip my head down and keep the sun out of my eyes with that visor. That is a lifesaver, because the tinted shield helps, but it's not everything. Well, I'm about halfway between the visitor center at the Desert National Wildlife Refuge and the turnoff to Hidden Forest Road, so I thought, what the heck, this is a nice open spot here. Pull out the drone a little bit. I'm still a complete novice with these with drones, and this is just a little DJI Neo that I'm playing around with. My first time messing around with it actually with a remote control, so let's see what that looks like, and then we'll hop back on the bike and continue. Here, so it looks like we're starting to climb a little. What a pretty ridge line off to the left there. Wow, that's nice. I'm hoping that part of this hidden forest road is, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a trailhead, and that'll be the end of our ride. We'll turn on to hidden forest, and then it'll be, I don't know, just a couple of miles on that. And at the end of that is a trailhead, and then you can walk. I don't remember how many miles it is, but it's miles. You can walk from there, and it'll take you. There's some cabin in the woods that you can visit. Interesting thing to do, but I'm not up for I think it's either a 2 mile or a 4 or 5 mile round trip hike. I don't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but not today. So what it sounded like from the map and from the description of this path is, as we are on Hidden Forest Road going to the Hidden Forest Trailhead, looked like there was some kind of a valley that we're going to ride through along that short stretch. And that sounds great. I'm hoping, I don't know, if it's half as pretty as Peekaboo Canyon, or it's not, maybe it's not a valley, is it a canyon? I don't know. We'll see when we get there. All right, Google's telling us, Google Maps is saying 1,000 feet. Turn right onto Hidden Forest Road. So we made it to this long, I don't know what that was, 18 miles. And this last few miles, it got nicer, a little less, a little less bumpy. But oh my gosh, there I go too. I was about to turn on my turn signal again. I'm going to maybe stop for a quick, photo. Yeah, why not? Maybe get a picture of the sign, and maybe this sign as well. Why not? A living landscape. You can always pause the video if you want to read more on this. Might have to step up a little. Hopefully I don't step on a rattlesnake. Ooh. Well, that's not bad. And some little lizard companions. Oh, wow, look at that. And we continue. Oh, you know what? Let's do this too, just because. Let's just admire some beauty right now. Admire the hotness of the 2025 Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE in one of its natural elements. We have no one-trick pony here. We have maybe 2 tricks. 1,200 ponies. All right, let's hop back on. See where this takes us. Straight up that hill and adventure time. Let me let this thing. Let this thing start up. Nope. I want you to take me to Hidden Forest Trailhead. I don't know why it keeps. There we go. 4 miles. Okay, so we have 4 more miles. it seems like whenever we're going, I guess this is normal, whenever we're going up these, whenever we're going up these hills, everything is a little more rugged, but I'm guessing that's because of every time we get any rain, the water's running down through here and churning all this stuff up, whereas on the flat stuff, they get, well, the main roads probably get the trucks coming out doing the grading more frequently as well. Just have to keep my eyes open. Taking it nice and slow. Very loose rocks here. Oh, you know what? I just realized. You turkey. I'm going up this hill and it's arguing with me a little bit about the terrain, and damn traction control had kicked in. So as we're going up in these loose rocks, the rear is kind of going, yeah, why don't you slow down a little? Annoying. There we go. Now we're back into Off-Road Pro. Behave like a motorcycle. I don't know. I guess I sort of understand why they do that. Maybe it's a regulatory thing. I don't know. I think some manufacturers don't do that. So I don't know. I don't know if BMW or Ducati or Honda, you know, like some of their adventure bikes and stuff, when you put it into a different mode, like when I put this into sport mode and I shut the bike off, it stays in sport mode when I start it up again. But when you put it in these off-road modes, it goes back to whatever the previous non-off-road mode was. So like in this case, I believe it was back at just plain old road mode again, which is a little frustrating. I guess that just says if you want to stop the bike for a minute, well, it's not that big of a deal to put it back into off-road mode. You just, keep that in mind. But you can also, instead of using the key to turn it off, just use the kill switch on up by the throttle. And then the power is still on, so it doesn't switch out of the mode. So when you start it back up again, it's still in that off-road mode. But, yeah, it's personal preference stuff, I guess. Boy, this is... starting to feel start humming the Rocky theme in my head, because this is getting strong now. Yep, it's Rocky, definitely Rocky here. But going up all this, crawling up slowly on all this stuff, I can't even imagine doing this in my big Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer. I would have turned around. I'd have been pooping myself to try and, worrying about, am I going to dump it, because it's so top heavy, this is no lightweight, but it definitely feels more at home in this kind of stuff than that big Tiger would have been. So that's another win for my use case. This is the kind of stuff on the Husqvarna 701 Enduro that Of course, now it's nice and smooth again, but you'd just be just flying through here at 45 or 50, and it just wouldn't be any big deal. Of course, that was also after a year or more of getting used to it. Maybe I'll get to that point with this one eventually. This is getting kind of pretty. Up on this little raised platform here with this sunken in area to the left. Yikes. That's some loose stuff there. All right, we have about half a mile, 0.7 miles left. And it looks like a bunch of vehicles up here. So I think this is the end of our journey for today. We'll see what it looks like when we get up here. Ooh. Those are hikers that are going to be going all the way to, probably all the way up to that cabin maybe. So I still have half a mile to the trailhead, but maybe this is as far as you go for an actual motorized vehicle. Let me turn around here and hop off the bike and check it out. There we go. I have to say, this is starting to feel a little anticlimactic. Riding is great-ish, but the probably the most interesting thing along this route might just be my witty and charming narration. There's not a whole lot going on over here. And from what I can tell, this trail, there's a canyon down there, but it looks like you have to walk through the canyon. I would assume, based on all the vehicles there, I'm not going to be that guy that goes blowing past all the pedestrians and the hikers and stuff, kicking up dust and shouting yeehaw and giving them the finger. That would not be cool. That's just not me, at least not today. So I'm gonna grab my key and let's at least walk up and check out the sign up here. See what the story is on this thing. Oh yeah, there's the actual gate right there. So I'm glad I didn't try and ride down there and then figure out that I was not getting very far. Hidden Forest Trail begins at the mouth of Dead Man Canyon, and as you ascend, you'll find yourself staring into the majestic canopy of a ponderosa pine forest. Oh, well, son of a gun. And then there's the cabin that's a ways out there, but, well, you know, when you say a road takes you to a trailhead, in my head, that means the road takes you to the trailhead, not half a mile from the trailhead where they park a couple of giant boulders in the path and a big old gate. I could probably get around that, and I could probably also drop the bike down the side of that hill if I tried. Well, shoot, here's the Dead Man Canyon Hidden Forest, open to hiking only. No vehicles beyond the gate. Okay. Seeing as this is more of a riding and driving channel than a walking channel, I don't know if we'll ever see that. I know it's just half a mile down there, but just not feeling it today. Well, let's see if we can head on back. It's a nice calm day. I'm gonna head on back Alamo Road. Wow, you know, I'm gonna put this up in the air here. Look at that view. Way in the distance, you can kind of, it looks like a dry lake bed off in the little valley there. Man. Yeah, this is really, even just right here is pretty, even if it's not what we were actually looking for. But thanks for watching all the way to the end. As usual, I don't record the return trip because you've already seen it. So this is going to be the end of today's little adventure of the mid-50s guy riding slowly on dirt roads on a bike that's probably too big and heavy for it, but I don't care because it's fun and I'm doing it and it's handling it just fine. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to call it for this one. Hope this was enjoyable for you. If you like these little day trips, and I didn't say it at the beginning of the video, but I'll say it now. Primary focus of this channel is to do little day trips like this to show people who are either locals or tourists places that you might be able to go either on a motorcycle or with a couple of cars and bikes on day trips in and around the Las Vegas area. So this is just north. We're about 10, the entrance to this place is about 10 miles north of Las Vegas. So great national park up here with just miles and miles and miles to explore. So until the next one, if you do enjoy this, if this was fun for you, please hit that like button. That does help. And then if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Until next time, drive carefully and come back soon.